Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. I want to talk to you guys about XRP, about Bitcoin, about the crypto market in general. There's a lot to talk about. We just hit extreme fear, the lowest that we have been in a long time. Is it really that fearful out there? What does this mean? We'll also talk about the love and hate that XRP is getting right now with the new XRP ETF doing so great and the potential of the other XRP ETFs coming in the next few weeks. And we'll also talk about some interesting other runs that are going on right now and something that Warren Buffett did. Ooh, interesting as well. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button. And before we get into all the analysis and XRP and the graph and all that, I just want to say, reminding that the Telegram group, right, that I open up is free and open to everybody. Okay, there has been some confusion. It's not open. It's open. It's open to everybody. But what I kind of feared that could happen is starting to happen. We are seeing fake. What was this called? Users, yeah, fake users, looking like me with my picture saying that they are moneymaker Avi Lev. These are fake. I kicked this one out of the group. But this is one of my fears in the beginning of opening the group, that what was in the group would be used in a bad way by these imposters. So again, the group is open to everybody. You just join. It's free. You can see I'm even posting videos before they go up on YouTube. So it's early access. There's all these scammers and these imposters out there. I do like about once a week, once every 2 weeks, I try to look for them and report them. Sometimes the platforms remove them, sometimes they don't. If you see me anywhere that is not YouTube or this group or Twitter, right? And all these links are in the description. So if you see me outside of that, it's an imposter. I'm not DMing you on Telegram, okay? There's like 5 or 6 fake Avis there. I'm trying to figure out how to report on Telegram. They're not answering me really. So just if anybody sends you a personal message, a DM, ignore it, okay? The group is open and free. Anybody that's saying that it's paid or something like that, they're spreading false rumors, or it's an imposter that's trying to use my content. So no, the group, the link is here, it's free and it's open, okay? It was one of my fears that this would happen. It's already happening, so I have to monitor it and make sure that everybody that's entering is for good purposes. But what can we do? There's some bad actors out there, so we have to be very careful and be careful again, not just with my groups, but if you see another influencer and someone is sending you some weird stuff or asking you to do some weird platform or anything like that, report them, run away. Worst case scenario, it's the real person, right? And nothing will happen, but it's better to be safe than sorry, okay? So currently XRP is sitting at $2.28. You can see it's something that weighs on me a little bit. All this imposters and this shenanigans. This is part of the game, I guess, right? It comes with the territory, but just please be very careful out there. I mention this every video. I try to keep people safe, but sometimes it happens. So please be very careful out there. Okay, let me get to the other side. Currently, XRP again is sitting at $2.28. Bitcoin 96,000. It did drop all the way to 94,000, even 93,000. No, 94,000. And the fear is that extreme fear, right? 10. Holy smokus, right? Extreme fear, red, very strong red, 10. We talked about this, how there have been only a handful of times in the history of crypto and Bitcoin that we've been so low. It doesn't happen that much, right? It happened in June of 2022. That was the whole FTX situation where, and Luna, where, we went to extreme fear. That was acceptable fear, right? I remember what was going on. In March, April this year, also we got to extreme fear, and remember what happened off of that. But those scenarios, there were events that happened around that made the fear acceptable, in my opinion. March of 2020, of course, and here June of 2021. So there's been a few cases, right? What happened here? Yes, Bitcoin has pulled back, right? And the crypto 23%. And this is something that creates fear, right? Of course, the 10th of the 1010 was a black swan event. It was an event of detrimental proportions, right? Because a lot of people got destroyed. But outside of that, there hasn't been anything really bad, right? Quote unquote bad for the markets. There is fear, right? And even, stocks pull back a little bit, but, the S&P ended up finishing, flat, the NASDAQ too on Friday. So it wasn't, that they went too cray-cray, right? But the S&P 500, the NASDAQ is also down from the high about 4%. So it's not the same, percentages, but it is getting very close to a crossover on the 1348 EMA. So that's interesting. And that could be a signal that something might be happening, right? But on the daily, we're still pretty far out, right? Also on the daily for the NASDAQ. So that was in the 4-hour chart. So it will be interesting to see what happens with the markets. Many people are still very bullish. I just saw something with Tom Lee, and he's still very bullish on the stock market going into the end of the year. And of course, he's very bullish on crypto. But his funds and his Ethereum fund is down significant, right? Because the price of Ethereum is down significant. So a lot of the fear also, and maybe sending Bitcoin down yesterday, had to do with some false rumors. It's that were being circulated yesterday that Saylor Strategy cutting their Bitcoin holdings. And Michael Saylor said this is no truth in the rumor. He even came out and said we bought every day this week. So that was Michael Saylor. So that created some fear because people were like, oh, whoa, if Saylor is, getting out of his positions, what does that mean for us? He is the most Bitcoin maxi, Bitcoin supporter of them all. He says he said he was never going to, depart from his Bitcoin. So that created fear, and might be one of the reasons why we saw that we're seeing this 10 on the fear, right? Or it's extreme fear, right? So it's very high fear. And so that will be interesting to see where we go from here. But we know in the past, whenever we hit these extreme fears or these double-digit fears, things have a tendency to turn around. Again, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen for sure. As always, I'm not a prophet. I don't know exactly day to day what's going to happen, how the market's going to play out. Of course, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Everything we talk in this video is just my opinions, what I am feeling, what I am seeing. It's for educational, for entertainment purposes only, okay? If you want to take advantage of the ups and downs of the market, our partner BYDFI will give you the opportunity to do so. Right? So if you are interested, link is in description down below. We do have a partnership with them right now, and you can take advantage potentially of this extreme fear. Again, it doesn't mean that the markets will for sure go up or down from here. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's, history has told us that these are usually, right, times of, low, high fear usually equals bottoms. Doesn't mean, right, it could continue to dip, but it's just a reminder. And we do have a sign up bonus with them. So if you sign up and you deposit, you will get these bonuses. Link is in the description down below, and you can get there through my website. You go here, and then you have our partners. If you do sign up using my link, I will get a commission. So thank you for that. And again, please trade responsibly. Okay. Again, history has told us that these are usually bottoms, but history also told us that we were supposed to go into the banana zone in October and November, 500 days after halving, and that didn't happen. Although 500 days was around the peak at 125 for Bitcoin. So I don't know, you have to say to yourself. But on the flip side, none of the bull market top indicators, none of them, there's about 30 of them, none of them turned on. So it's a very confusing situation right now. I'm telling you, I'm confused also about the market. I think a lot of people are confused. We did have, for example, Raoul Paul that said recently that he thinks that it's shifted over towards the first quarter of 2026. We'll see, right? We'll see. But again, we do still have the gap. Mind the gap, right? If you've been on the train, mind the gap. We are very, very close to closing the gap. It's just a matter of a few percentages. It closed 94,000 on Friday. At the close there, Bitcoin has come up a little bit. We will see if next week we close it. Listen, it's so close right now that I think that the market will just push it that way just to close the gap. To get that CME gap out of mind, right? Because this has been something that if you've been watching the channel for the past, since it happened, basically, so the past 6 months, and funny, that was the last time that Bitcoin was under 100,000 in that area, right? I've been concerned about this gap, right? And I've mentioned it multiple times that I also was, concerned that we would hit the 77,000 gap, and that ended up happening. Now we had the 92, 91,000 gap, and I was like, hey, listen, we're at 126, but I'm still concerned about this gap here at 92,000. What happens a few weeks later? We're getting closer and closer to that gap. So if we ever get another gap or another thing that happens like this, and we have a peak, I think I might be doing something, right? I think I might be doing something because, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Third time, we gotta get it right, okay? So this was the gap one time. Second time, it seems like it's going to be closing. I think right now, high probability that it will. And then we'll see where it bounces off of that. But it's going to be a question. Again, it doesn't mean that it's going to close. But right now, I think the market is just going to push it that way because it will just get the monkey off the shoulder and get this, black cloud of that gap out of the market. So I think that it's high probability that will happen. Again, this is just my opinion, what I am seeing, what I am thinking. Again, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Zcash continues its recovery after it pulled down significantly. It's popping back up. A lot of people are looking at this again. So back on our radar here, Zcash up over 50%, I think, in the last 3-4 days. So there is movement in the market. You can see there are some that are moving, but for the most part, the market hasn't been doing great in the past few days. So we'll see. There's still a lot of fear about the December decision from the Fed. What will they do? No data coming out. How will that affect? There's still hawkish remarks from them. So a lot of that is affecting what's happening in the market in the short term. SEC Chair Paul Atkins said the SEC will ease crypto and Bitcoin regulations. So again, a new day from the SEC. We keep seeing this more and more times, and it's just making the things that were maybe concerns that I had just because of regulation and the SEC and all that surrounding crypto. I don't have those concerns from the SEC anymore. So, it's another thing removed from the hat of concerns. But these things are how big money will potentially come in. And big money, smart money usually gets in when there's extreme fear. Right? When there's extreme greed, usually that's not when they enter. That's when retail enters in extreme greed, in FOMO, in pumping. Right, but the big money, the smart money, they usually start sweeping when there's nobody there. Right? And when the hall is empty, that's when the big dogs come in. Okay, so this is what history has told us. Okay. There, even though XRP ETF, Canary Capital XRP ETF was so successful, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF flow tracker Farside Investors says it's no interest in covering XRP. So some people, some maxis still don't like XRP. They still are anti XRP. They still are a little bit with their nose up. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know my opinion on this. I own a slew of cryptos. I own XRP. I own Bitcoin. I own Ethereum. I own a lot of others. And I am not I'm not with my nose up, right? I want the communities to work together. In my head, it's the crypto community. It's not XRP, Bitcoin. I look at it as a community. And again, I'm a big believer in diversification. Again, this is just my opinion. And that's why I don't like this, oh no, we're not doing this. We're not. And so I look for opportunities. I look for how I can better myself, how I can better my portfolio. This kind of, if you guys know where I live, you know my situation, you kind of understand why I don't like this silly stuff, right? There's a lot more serious stuff around the world. Okay. Interestingly, Warren Buffett just bought Google. We're now on a Google platform, YouTube, right? The stock is up 90% since April, and on this information, it's up. But what's interesting here is he's finally coming into the AI revolution. Why also I want to bring this? Because Warren Buffett, he was a student of Benjamin Graham. If you don't know, right? Read all the history. Read Benjamin Graham's teachings. It's very, very important. Warren's teaching is very, very important. Benjamin Graham wouldn't invest in technology, right? That was one of his things. He wouldn't. Warren Buffett famously does, and invested, of course, in Apple and made a lot of money off of that. And now he's entering AI. And for now, he didn't really have that much touchings in that. Most of his companies, we know where he's invested. But now he's coming into AI. Why do I bring this? Because we have to, be dynamic. We have to develop. We have to learn. We have to change with times. And, sometimes people say, oh, it's funny. I don't know, understand. Okay, understand it, research it, and make a decision. Do you think this is good for the future? Do you think this is good for your portfolio? And then make a decision. Warren, I don't even remember what's his age right now, but he is developing, he is morphing, he is changing, he is going with the flows. Even if he has something that is one of his cardinal rules, he says, okay, times have changed, I need to change too. And this is, again, another thing of development and things that we have to learn and change and grow with our experience and with our time in the markets. And not be stuck in ways that we have done, even if they are successful. We know that something that is successful for a short period of time might not be successful for a long period of time. And even if it's successful a long period of time, it might stop being successful suddenly. So again, you have to be dynamic and try to grow and be better. Okay. Next week, we're supposed to get another slew of XRP ETFs. The big one is potentially Franklin Templeton between the 14th and the 18th. And then we have the others toward the end of the month, 21, Bitwise and CoinShare, Grayscale also. And so the next one is going to be Franklin Templeton. We'll see, will that suck the volumes from the Canary Capital one? That will be interesting to see next week. What the numbers are. They won't track it, but I'm sure the data is going to be tracked by someone else. So we'll see. Another interesting, SBI Group is going to be investing $200 million in Evernorth, the largest public XRP treasury company. So not surprising. Again, SBI Group has been very pro Ripple, pro XRP. So when I saw this headline, I was like, not too surprised about that. There's still a lot of XRP, enthusiasts and XRP, you could say, lovers out there, and so it will be very interesting to see again how these funds work and how the treasuries work and how the ETFs work and how much inflows and how much potential excitement. Now, again, If you remember, and you've watched already, whoa, 20 minutes in, you remember we talked about how I didn't think that once we had the first XRP ETF that the price action would go bonanzas, right? And that didn't happen. So I was right on that. But again, this is more a short-term thing, but long-term, it could bring a lot of excitement, a lot of, flow into it. Remember, when XRP ETF was released, it's history for XRP community, maybe a little bit for crypto community. But when Bitcoin ETF was released, it was a huge thing. Why? First of all, it was the first one, right? It's the first crypto ETF ever, right? Second thing, Bitcoin is a lot more noticeable than XRP, right? Bitcoin is talked about on the news. It's talked about. There's been movies and documentaries and all of this, right? So it's a lot more well known, and it was a lot more anticipated. There was a lot more excitement around it. There was the false, remember, announcement, and BlackRock was involved, so they're a lot bigger. And so that there was that momentum. And remember, we were also coming off of like. Just the market hadn't been doing great, and Bitcoin was around 27,000. We were coming off of the lows, right, of the extreme fear. And so when that happened, it created that massive momentum into that. And again, the Ethereum one didn't have that massive momentum. It even sold off after that. So again, we'll see how this plays out. The XRP ETFs, of course, are good. We're finally seeing them. But price action, again, when there's more buyers than sellers, the price will go up. When there's more sellers, when there's fear, price goes down. That's just how it is. And so we'll see how this happens. Reminder, we have the Telegram group. If you're interested, we have early access to videos there and special videos, clips like vlog styles that I upload. So if you're interested, again, the group is free and open to everybody. And we also have our partner BYDFI if you're interested, and we have that amazing sign up bonus for you. So link is in the description down below. I will get a commission if you use my link, and please trade responsibly. Don't forget to smash the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, 8 for infinity and beyond. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. See you later.